PNGFM's Radio Rambles. We made it to episode 2. If you haven't already heard, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year, and we wanted to take you on a PNGFM journey, show you a glimpse of how far we've come and the people behind PNGFM. Now, we go back, way back this week. We talked to Miss Ellie Webb, the first female breakfast co-host. Now, she talks about the highlights of being a radio personality, also the challenges that she faced and what she learned from radio. This is her story.
Hi, my name's Ellie Webb. I'm a Papua New Guinean woman. I'm somewhere on the other side of 50, but not too far away. I come from New Ireland province, and I also have Irish descent as well, Irish Australian. But I guess, thank you so much for having me here. It's always exciting to see how far NAU FM has come and all of the conglomerates that have built as well and spread out across the country and had a piece of this story. I think at the time it was a matter of circumstance. I had been doing a couple of years of television. That was just an accident falling into media, but it did come from needing a little bit of bravery. It was hard for young girls at that time, back in the 80s, to find work, particularly straight out of high school and not having any qualifications except being able to maybe talk, which my family can attest to, and I'm happy to say that has cut back a little bit. I don't do it as much as what I used to. But when NAU FM was first developed and came onto the scene, I guess they were doing a little bit of desk research around who were some of the other people that were around the environment doing some public speaking, representing a younger population, and also I guess someone that maybe some of the younger PNG community could relate to. I'd grown up here. I'd done all my primary schooling here and most of my high schooling. 2 of my 3 children were born here, 1 at PNG. So, and I came from a time when we could walk to and from school. It wasn't like today where we're a little bit more nervous about things. We freely rode around on PMV buses. When I went to get my ears pierced, I was able to walk into Tabari Place and do it with my cousins. It was just a different time that just doesn't exist anymore. So I think that was one of the things they were looking at, because if we look back to the very first crew of announcers and program directors and content creators, I think we were in between the age of 16 and 22. A lot of us didn't have any skill set except that we were energetic and wanted something new to do, and weren't afraid of trying something new. So when I was first approached about doing some radio announcing, the announcing part of it wasn't new to me, but the idea of not being able to smile and connect with somebody in front of me was quite, it was a bit frightening. I was thinking, how on earth am I going to know if I'm saying the right thing? And obviously radio is live, whereas television at the time, there was a little bit of live content, but a lot of it was pre-recorded. So if you made the mistake, if you accidentally swore, if you accidentally didn't mention the sponsors and so forth, you had a little bit of a reprieve. With radio, there's no forgiving. But it was kind of exciting, because I've got to say, day in, day out, I fall on some skills that I had learned from that very first job, in radio. So, I never say things are attributed to luck. People always say, I was in the right place at the right time. I don't think that is the case. I think that sometimes you create your own opportunities, and Mosby was young. It was certainly a lot easier than what I see for our kids today, to be able to meet people that, getting into whatever supply chain you want to in the industry you're in. So that part of it was, a great opportunity. But I also want to make sure that people understand that some of the successes that people enjoy from getting into media at that time was completely attributed to them, to themselves. So a little bit of circumstance, a lot of, dare I say, faking it till you make it. And then also just being able to be aware of what you brought to the table, of what you were going to sell and help grow and build this industry. Yeah. Well, were people going to take me seriously? I think I might have been barely 18 at the time, so I was a young mum, so I knew that I had to take myself seriously, but people that were listening, radio advertising is hard, and so we needed to make sure that we were doing credit to the advertising we were selling. So we needed to make sure we had the listener base. Again, like with TV, you get to make sure that you can look the part, or, you know, say the right things with sponsors. With radio, you've either got to sound like something they want to listen to, or you've got to know how to talk about a topic that people are interested in hearing about. You know, you can't, and sometimes I'm not the funniest person, and I'm useless with telling jokes. So even today, my kids would be like, don't even try. You know, why are you even going there? This is not a skill set that you should be exploring. So that was probably the biggest thing. And, you know, I'm not going to shy away from the fact that being a mixed race girl in a country that was still very young, were they going to take me seriously? So I've got to say, I threw in a lot of talk piss in. I'd try and learn different things in Motu, in different, you know, languages and dialects, just to kind of mix it up. I'd already been trialing some of that in the television space that I was working in. But in the end, that didn't matter. It just made, you know, it made a difference if I was just being myself, but ensuring that I was being true to what I thought I wanted to see other Papua New Guinean women to behave like. Not that everybody has to be this way, but I tried to start telling myself, if I was 2 or 3 and listening to these things, or if I had daughters at the time, which I didn't, what would I want them to hear? And I remember very distinctly thinking that to myself, that, gosh, I could be listened to by 100 people, or it could be 10,000 people, depending on who happens to switch to that station at that given time. And I was really aware of that from the get-go. And so I guess my main thing was how to make sure that I got taken seriously, which is hard. At 19, when you're wanting to get out there and have a beer with your friends and, you know, just kind of be authentic to yourself, your teenage self, but then trying to step into that adult world as well. Yeah. Yeah, like, you know, sometimes I don't get a lot of opportunity to listen to radio today because I don't spend a lot of time in the car, which is where I used to at the time when buses or whatever the case is. But every now and then when I tune in now and I hear people that are on the road at different locations and doing like, I can't remember what they're called now, but you basically do a live cross, you know. And probably one of my favourite activities was doing it in the schools, because you had such an opportunity to impact these young lives in a small amount of time. It wasn't for them hearing or being or shaking hands with somebody on radio. It was that they were part of whatever it is you were doing. And, you know, I guess that access to people that have a little bit of influence, it's harder now. And I used to really like that. I loved, you know, when I did do a little bit of program directing and so forth, I loved being able to design things that, you know, involved the schools. We still don't do enough of having things like encouraging platforms like radio in high schools and in universities. Some of my earliest most poignant memories as a kid is being in my village in Lavongai at Metamana, and my grandmother and my auntie, who was like a second mother to me, she would make us sit and listen to radio in the evenings. You know, that was our form of learning or entertainment when we're there for 8-9 weeks at a time over Christmas. So when I got the opportunity to do it, I thought, gosh, we're, you know, we can actually contribute to this amazing space. So that I loved. I loved being able to do that. Obviously, it was a lot of fun being able to interview different people from all walks of life. One interview I remember really quite clearly was a lady by the name of Nora Vagi-Brash, who recently passed away. I interviewed her when she released her first book, and I thought I would never have had the opportunity to meet somebody of this calibre had I not have been in this space. I still remember turning the mic on. We'd gotten this brand new board of controls, and we'd all learned how to do the fade in and fade out and so forth. But when you're sitting in front of somebody like that, you think, I'm in the exact place that I want to be at this exact time, and I'm going to remember this forever. The other thing, I guess, that I remembered is that oftentimes before it got onto the television news, we were part of the news first, you know, with things that were happening on the ground. And I don't know how well run it is at the moment. I think our journalism space and as I said, the platform needs a lot more help to build it up, because we have potentially a far greater reach than any other media platform because of the infrastructure that our country has. So that's probably it, just having access to kids. There's still some people that come up and remember me and I think, good God, that's such a long time ago. But then I won't lie. I would be lying if I said it doesn't, make me feel good inside that somebody, and hearing what you said today, wow, you've made my week. Yeah.
Oh, how nice.
Like I said earlier, oftentimes when I am doing, and I work in development now, in women's economic empowerment, but I have lots and lots of people that I mentor and train. We're talking with lots of women that are, figuring out how they can be better, like a better version of themselves. And again, I'm by no stretch of the mean any sort of role model in that sense. But I use a lot of the skills that I learned from radio. Like if I don't necessarily say I was in the radio space, but I use a lot of the skills and things like smiling through the phone, interviewing, when I'm talking about, things, enunciating, and not being shy to speak the best English you can or speak the best Tok Pisin you can, not getting don't I was about to say not getting broken bus, and here I am doing it. But for someone actually getting into this space, yes, it's a lot of fun, and being in the media is amazing. It can open some incredible doors. It did for me. And you get to, be in the space of some amazing people, be part of some amazing projects, but also be really aware that you're impressionable to a lot of people that are in the young space. I hear things sometimes, and not that there has to be any rules and regulations, but you need to be aware that when you're saying things, when you're telling the story, when you're talking on air, there are lots of people listening, and sometimes people are able to sift out the crap from the good stuff, and sometimes people don't. So you have such a huge opportunity to shape someone's, whatever it might be, whether you're selling something, talking about something, interviewing, sharing a story about natural disasters, sending out a dedication. Be the best version of yourself. Don't be too, you don't have to be the funniest person or the coolest person or dress the right way or have money to do all those things, but you can certainly remind yourself that you're an ambassador for a country, you're an ambassador for a radio station, but you can probably help shape someone's mindset from a very young age. And oftentimes we're there, to provide entertainment, but we're, conduits and conveners of education, whatever it might be, whether it's music or otherwise, so yeah.
So it's been a year of milestones for us. While we celebrate our 30th this year, our Mama Ground PNG celebrated its 49th anniversary not too long ago, and we were excited to hold it at our new home. We also celebrated Legend FM's birthday. If you didn't know, Legend FM was launched on September 16th back in 2011. Now, one thing about us Papua New Guineans is we love to get together. We love our food and we love to share. We invited our Norwegian Wantoks, the band Naked Koala, to join us, and here are a few highlights from the day. Over the years, we've seen team members begin and/or build a career with us here at PNG FM. We spoke to Doris Leva this week. She started off as a radio personality and is now a manager of our events arm of the business, Total Event Company. This is her story.
I'm Doris Leva, event manager, Total Event Company. Okay. I started off as an announcer in 2010. Basically, it was really my sister's idea. I had no no thought. No, it didn't really occur to me that radio was something that I could do. But there was the Saturday that the auditions were running, we went to do school registration at one of these institutes, because I had just finished high school. And after that, when we were on our way home, we heard the cattle call on the radio, the ad. So we're like, okay. My sister was like, maybe you should just go give it a shot. I don't think they're done yet. And this was already maybe after 2. And so we arrived, our dad and mom brought us to Credit Corp. And then I just decided, okay, fine, we'll just try. Because the school registration, the school we were going to needed our CVs, so I just had my CV on me on that day. And my certificate, so that's it. I walked into Credit Corp, and then I met the actual, my other counterpart who was also hired on that day as well, Debbie. I met her in the lift. We were the last 2 people who came up for the actual audition, and then to our surprise, we were chosen. I think about maybe 2 years, yeah, from 2010 to about 2012. Towards the end of 2012, I moved up to Total Event Company. I showed interest in doing events. So,
what was the interest there with events, and why did you want to get involved with that?
I guess it's because one of the challenges as a radio personality is that your mind is supposed to be really how should I put it? You're supposed to be a very, very creative person, right? Yeah. And then you're supposed to keep up with trends, and it's a moving world out there. And that for me, I think, was one of my setbacks. I felt was one of my setbacks. And I was not really the type to be on the internet or on social media so much, so that I felt like I lacked in that space. And my interest in events came about because I felt like I was really good at coordinating stuff. And I like to move around more and plan more, like, just plan stuff, yeah. So I think one of the perks of being in events and being someone who's out there to be able to assist customers and help clients and run events is that you put yourself out there, and other people see what you're capable of doing. That's exactly how I got snatched. It was a client event that I ran, and then the person who was in charge, our liaison person in charge of that particular event, was the one who approached me and offered me another job, and that's how I ended up leaving, because it looked like an even interesting challenge to take on. Yeah.
So why come back?
Why come back? Well, I felt like I was ready for this post, because when I went out, I needed to learn a bit more. And when I moved into different fields of work, there are so many other things that I've learned professionally and also personally, to be able to bring back that experience to make a better event manager here. Like, something that I would be able to give back to here, because this is where I started. Wow, most rewarding. I guess meeting all sorts of people in all different walks of life. I think that's one thing that I really enjoy. Yeah. Two highlights, actually. There was one Christmas we did Secret Santa, and William Parkinson pulled my name and got me a gift from Fiji. That I will never forget, because as soon as he landed in Mosby, he brought that gift straight to me.
Nice.
My second highlight, and that was when I was in radio, was when Jessica Malboy came to PNG. I was the one who interviewed her. Girl!
Very. Very nice highlight.
I will never forget that. And also, I got to take a picture with Justin Hodges.
Ah, rugby league.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Well done.
Okay, so PNGFM is a family-oriented place, okay? This is where we come and grow and go out, and if you're able to come back again and give back to the company like what I did, I would really encourage you to do that. But like how I started, it wasn't my pick, but I just went for the goal and I did it. You never know what's ahead of you. Just take that first step. Radio will never harm you. It will mold you and you'll be a better person. That's all I can say. Because I don't think that I spoke so much until after radio. Even though, I mean, I didn't think that I spoke so much, but maybe my sister did. Yeah.
Thank you for watching Radio Rambles. Don't forget to follow us on our socials. We're on TikTok, we're on Facebook. And don't forget to like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, if you haven't already heard, we've moved to a new location, right? We've got a new home. And if you haven't already figured out how to get there, check out this video and we'll see you on the next episode of Radio Rambles.